did the accessor get name. So now we can quickly just take a look at the next one. So the next one is again an accessor method, get surname to return. So return tells you to do what? Function. Well, actually the word accessor should also just tell you it's going to be a function because you're going to return a value, and it says it is going to be get surname. So we just type in get surname, and then what data type will it return? So your surname is a string, so it's going to return a string for us. We control shift C, and inside of the coding section, get surname, we need to send it back. How do I send something back? Yes, we use our result, and then we can just say f surname. Okay, so that is this one. Then accessor get grade and an accessor for get average. So just for the two remaining attributes, we need to create functions. So it's going to be function get grade. What data type will be returned? Yes, so we're going to return an integer. The next one is going to be a function which will be get average, and data type that will be returned is going to be a double. So we control shift C. So for the get grade, we just want to send it back, so it's going to be our result is equal to our f grade. Same with get average, we just want to send it back, so we just go ahead and say result is equal to, and then now we can just say our f average. So we're just sending them back, nothing special. Okay, now with the mutator set grade. Set grade we already did. Okay, I already did procedure set grade for you. Now the next one we are going to take a look at is the mutator set average. Okay, to update the average to a received parameter. So that means your mutator that you create, so it's going to be a procedure. It's going to be set average. And then we just need to receive a parameter, so we can say p new average, and that's going to be of data type double that you will be receiving. We control shift C, and we can simply say what needs to get a new value. Yes, our average, so that's f average. And what value do we give f average? That's correct, so the parameter p new average, so p new average. So we just take the parameter and give it to our f average. Okay, is everyone with me? Even the people that's looking at the keyboard images. Everyone good? Okay. Okay, so now the last one we've got here is a toString method that will return a string in the format, and then it gives us the format. So from this we can see that the learner's name must appear, there must be a tab, the surname must appear, then on the new line we're going to have our grade, we're going to have a tab, the grade that is actually in the f grade, then we'll have the caption average, we've got another tab, and then we will have the actual average. Okay, so in order to do this we first need to go ahead and create a function here at the top, and we're going to say it's a function. What's the function name? It's going to be toString. Okay, are we going to get any parameters? No, we don't receive any parameters, so we're just going to say what data type will it return. Okay, it's going to return a string for us, that's correct. I control shift C, and now we can go ahead and create our result. So what must be sent back? What must be sent back is basically all the info, but in this format. So we are firstly going to say our result gets the value of our learner name must appear. So where's the learner name located? Okay, people, are you with me? Okay, great stuff. F name. Okay, then I need to have a tab. How do I create a tab? #9. Okay, then I must display the surname. So F surname. Is there a need for me to format these names and surnames? Convert it? No, because it is a string and I want to put it in a string, so it's okay. Okay, Now after the surname, we can see we need to go to a new line. How do I get to a new line? Hashtag 13. Okay, and then I'm gonna have that small caption that says grade. So I just type in the word grade. Okay, then I've got a tab, so hashtag 9. Then I need to actually just show the grade. Where can I find the grade? F grade. F grade is an integer. I need it as a string. So I need to say int to string, and then I can basically just say my F grade. Okay, now again going on to a new line, hashtag 13. Now we just have to put the caption there. It's called average. So we just say average. Okay, again a nice tab, so that's hashtag 9 plus, and then we basically just have to show the average amount. So the average amount will be found in our F average, but F average is what data type? What does it need to be? Yes, so float to string, and then our F average. Okay, and that is basically it. So that is the complete back end. Okay, so if we quickly take a look at the front end, we can see the first button is saying default student. So basically, the only thing what default student is basically going to do, it's going to go ahead and it's going to just call this tcreate without parameters or default constructor. Okay, so before we do that, we just have to say a few things. So luckily over here you can see I already created, well, in the users I placed a learner U. That is important. Okay, so that means I'm allowed to use this unit. Okay, what I also did is inside of the public section I created an object called learner, and I said it's of data type tLearner. So tLearner, if we scroll up here, we say tLearner is an object class. Okay, so that's just basically a reference. The object is the T object. Okay, now if we want to go and create it, we are going to basically just go ahead and we're going to say our learner. So that is our object. Gets the value of. Now this is the only place, and that is if you create, where you are going to call the tLearner. So you're just going to say, well, this object, we're just going to say dot create to start creating it. But once the object is then created, we never refer to tLearner again. We just refer to learner. Okay, so if there's no object, we have to say tLearner dot create. But after that, for everything like set average, get average, we need to say the object dot. Okay, so let's try that. So we're going to go ahead and say learner is equal to our tLearner dot, and then we have create. Okay, now this is our default one. So if you look at the board, you can see create. If I place the parameters there, you can see now it's looking for a P name, P surname, P grade, P average, because we have that overload there. That is the part of the overload. If we remove the parameters, it's going to be the first one. It's going to be our default constructor. So I just end the line, go to the new line. So what it's now going to do is once I click this, it's going to go to the unit here at the back, and it's going to initialize all of these values or all of these attributes to 0 and null. And now it is created. But if it's created, we still want it just to be displayed. We want to see what we have created. So we go back to our unit, and now we just want to display it in the reach edit. So what we can do is we can go ahead and say red display.clear, and then on the next line we can say red display.lines.add, and now we want to get all the information. Which method over here is going to send back all the display components? It's going to be our toString. Do you agree? Because our toString has the result of the name, surname, the caption, and everything that needs to be displayed, our output. So we go back and we just say, what object are we working with? We are working with learner. Okay. Now how do I get the toString? I just say dot toString. So now if you run this program, you can see, well, no, you can't see. There we go. If I click default, it looks messed up. There's nothing being displayed. So is my display wrong? No, it's not wrong. Remember, the name has got no value. The surname over here to the right has no value. The grade has no value, and the average has no value. We set it to null, so this is working perfectly. Okay, so now for the next one, the enter student, what we are going to be needing or need to have is we first need to have all of these parameters. So we need a name, we need a surname, we need the grade, we need an average. And how do we get that? Input boxes, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a few variables. Let's call it name. It's going to be of data type string. We're going to have our surname, also of data type string. We will have our grade, that's going to be integer. And we'll have our average, that's going to be of data type double. Okay, now you're simply just going to go ahead and ask the user for all of these content. So you're just going to go ahead and say name is equal to input box, 3 parameters separated by 2 commas. The first one is the caption, next one instruction, and lastly a default. Okay, and you're just going to basically do that for all of the information that is required. Have all the values. We have a name, we have a surname, we have the grade, we have the average. Okay, that is all the information that is required for us to go ahead and create an object of learner. Okay, everyone with me? Okay, so now I'm going to basically follow the exact same thing I did with my default constructor. So before the constructor or the object exists, we are just going to go ahead and basically say our learners, is it learner? Sorry, it's learner, gets the value of, remember the object doesn't exist yet, so we first need to create it. So we're going to say our learner is equal to, what do I say? The first time I create an object, I need to call what? Yes, so I need to call my class's type. So it's my tLearner. Okay, so I'm just going to call tLearner dot my create. Now if I don't put in the brackets, it's going to do my default. I don't want default, I want to give information, so I'm going to put the brackets. Now inside of the brackets, it basically tells you pname of string must come first. So what parameter has the name? We can just pass nm through. So that's going to hold our name, comma, the next one needs to be our surname. So that is going to be the surname variable. Then next up we need to give our grade, so that's grd. And then lastly we need to get the average, which is ave. So we're just sending through all of the parameters in the same order as the create on the other unit on the back end. Okay, what it's now going to do is at the back end, we won't see this. It's going to send through the information. It's going to create the object so that we can use the object. And then lastly, what do we just want to do? We want to display. Yes, so we want to do the toString. So firstly, I'm just going to clear my rich edit. So red display dot clear. And then I can just display. So red display dot lines dot add. Now how do I call the toString? It's going to be related to my object. So my object I've already created with the first one, so it does exist, so I am allowed to go and reference my object. So I'm just going to say learner dot, and then which method is the display method? Or toString. So simply getting all of the content that we need, creating it by saying our object is equal to the class object dot create. We send through all of the information we need to send through. Then we clear our reach edit and we add to our reach edit. What do we want to add? We want to take our object and display all of the object's information. Okay, so let's test if this in fact works. Yes. No. Okay, please enter an average, and now you can see it is working perfectly. Okay, all good?